Moratorium. Now that I got your attention, let's talk about moratoriums and strategies for advertising around moratoriums or possibly even buying around moratoriums. So what the heck is a moratorium? Now, it's not some death word or anything else like that, although could be taken as that. So right now we've got a couple cities in North Idaho that have a building moratorium, which means you can't get a certificate of occupation, you can't get permits to build. And what causes that is in those two particular cities, in Harrison and in Spirit Lake, is lack of sewer capacity, meaning they don't have any more capacity in the sewer to add a new house or new houses or new developments into those cities. So there is a moratorium on building, which definitely can be a challenge if you have vacant land to sell. And if you don't know about that as a agent, or if you don't know about that as a buyer, you could put yourself in a real predicament. So I'm going to share with you a couple of strategies around selling properties with or without hookups and buying. So let's go back to a few years back. Harrison, Idaho had a moratorium on building because they didn't have enough sewer capacity. And I had some very savvy buyers, and I know of several of them that were doing this same thing, that looked at this and went, I love this town. We're probably 5 to 6 years out from retirement. We got some money sitting in a bank account over here that we might make 5 to 7% interest on, but we really want to look into our future. And so I helped some buyers buy property that had a moratorium on it. They knew they wouldn't be able to build on it, but that was a long-term play. And so if you're looking for a good long-term play, I think that buying some property up in Spirit Lake, Idaho right now is a very good long-term play, because that moratorium looks like it's going to be 3 to 5 years out right now. And you can find a bunch of property for sale that, most people don't want to buy because they can't build right away. Harrison down there looks like that moratorium might be freeing up a little bit more sooner than later. They've got an LID that they're doing for the water and sewer improvement plans that they have there. But we're getting a little bit carried away here. So that's a good long-term play. You want to put your money into something, into some dirt, that would be a good investment for the future, especially in a great area. So now you've got some property for sale. Maybe you acquired some property from an estate. Uncle Bob passed away, or you've had this property for a while. You thought you were going to go for the long-term play and you couldn't, or maybe you see an opportunity. We've got a listing coming up on the market here very shortly that is my client ended up buying a property where it used to have a manufactured home on it. Manufactured home was roached out, bought the property, scraped it, and now they've got a property that has all the hookup availability in a town with a moratorium. So why is that exciting? And why is that maybe possibly challenging to sell? Well, I can tell you, when I get buyers that are looking for properties, maybe they've investigated some of this stuff on their own, and all of a sudden I suggest to them a property in Spirit Lake that's for sale, and they're like, well, that's off the books because that has a moratorium. No. That's a great opportunity, because people want to buy that property. They love Spirit Lake, but there's a moratorium there. So what we're doing is we're creating a marketing plan for that property where we're going to target developers, we're going to target builders, we're going to target manufactured home dealerships, where they're getting people that want to buy a house and want to live in Spirit Lake, but have pretty much written it off. So our marketing plan isn't going to be just at marketing, shotgunning it, hoping someone sees it. We're going to be very targeted with the people that we're looking at, with the marketing that we're doing. We're creating a marketing plan to go after some investors who know the benefits of Spirit Lake. So ultimately, at the end of the day, the moratorium in our particular case is going to play really well. But I mentioned challenge because the challenge could be if you have a uneducated buyer and they're looking at it and they're going, well, geez, your third of an acre is listed for $175, but there's this half acre right over here that is listed for $90,000. I'd rather buy that $90,000. Well, the uneducated buyer doesn't know that they may not be able to build on that for 3 to 5 years. Okay, and so there's going to be some learning curves. We're going to do some more market videos on this. That's one of the reasons why we're shaking it up. We're talking about this moratorium in Spirit Lake. If you really want to get down to the brass knuckles, this video is partially part of the marketing plan around that property that's coming up on the market. So at the end of the day, moratoriums can have this funny sound to them. They can definitely make for a challenging property sale. I've sold some property in Spirit Lake that did not have the sewer hookups already. It was part of the moratorium, and I've seen that property. You know, we sold it. I represented the buyers. We knew about it. They bought it. A couple years later, moratorium still available. They had to get change of life, right? And so we put it back on the property, on the market. And I can tell you, when we did put that back on the market, boy howdy, it was hard to sell. So at the end of the day, it's about creating a customized marketing plan regardless of what your property is. And here's another thing that I'm going to bring up too. Let's say you're in a town like Spirit Lake, and let's say that you have a property that you can't build on. I think there's about 13 properties that fall into that category that are for sale, somewhere thereabouts as we talk November 2025. If you go on the market and you look at it, if you were to sell a house, we're going to pause right now on that part. If you were to sell a house and there's 13 houses for sale in your neighborhood and 47 of them had sold, you have a pretty good idea what your house property is going to be worth. But if you put your house on the market for slightly higher than the rest of them that are for sale, someone come be bopping along, they're going to go for the cheaper one. They're going to go look at that house first. And it's the same thing with property. So if you've got 13 properties in Spirit Lake right now that are for sale, that have a moratorium, you're going to have a very, very, very small buyer pool. And if you do want to sell it soon, you're going to have to be very aggressive with that price. And you may not like to hear that. It's just how it is. I've done enough of these to know you can choose to sit on the market or you can choose to sell it. But if you go on the market and everybody else is priced at $1 a foot and you price it at $1.10 a square foot, guess what? You're just going to sit there. If you price it at 90 cents a square foot, you're going to be the first one that people look at when that one buyer or that the two buyers that come along for the next 6 months actually have the capacity to buy are looking at it. So anyways, the dogs are now playing. They're in the background having fun. We definitely are going to stay in touch about more strategies, more tips. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys want to hear more on real estate. Market videos are definitely something that we do on a regular basis. Appreciate you watching if you actually watch this video this long. BK knows the way.